Alright everyone, welcome to the next video. This is all about furniture and property setup, so the logistics, operations, the actual process behind setting up the actual Airbnb property. So here's what we're going to cover here. Working with your designers, budgeting basics, ordering and delivery, the whole process, setting expectations remotely of the team actually setting it up, logistical challenges that sometimes occur, and then we're going to break down the entire setup process step by step. The first thing we're going to talk about is working with your designer. So a big thing is you want to make sure that you remain in control of the design. And what I mean by that is there's many great designers out there, don't get me wrong, but sometimes what they have in mind compared to what you know works for Airbnb can vary slightly. So you just want to make sure that they understand what their job is working with you. And this can vary market to market. Like if you open up a place beside Disney World compared to opening a place in a downtown metro area, the layout or the design might change a little bit, right? Or if you're doing a one bedroom apartment compared to a large house, how you design it might change a bit, right? So at the very beginning, when you're just starting, as we mentioned before, you just want to apply the Burger King logic to the design process. Replicate what is already working in your location. You can do this just by looking at other well-performing Airbnbs. You can do this by jumping on AirDNA again and seeing the top performers there. But let me give you an example here. So imagine you're opening up a new property in a place where you know has lots of traffic with children. There's a lot of children that come with their parents to this Airbnb. Now you can see that the top performers all have kids room or games rooms of some sort, something like that, right? And if you don't make sure that your designer knows this and designs it with this in mind, and they just set up not the way that you envisioned, this can drastically make a cut in your revenue, right? And then on the other side of the spectrum, think about like 1 or 2 bedroom apartments. Who do they cater to? Usually business travelers, stuff like that, more corporate. And you want to be a bit more neutral leaning on this side. And if you go too outlandish, it can potentially just attract the wrong clientele, which will cut your revenue again. I actually have a story for this one. One of my first properties, I worked with a designer who was really good, but I was abdicating the responsibility. I was like, I'm not a designer. I don't know how to do this, so I'm going to let her handle this. And I pretty much just gave her a budget and then let her do her thing and then waited until she sent me the photos. That's pretty much it. And it worked good once, twice. I thought, oh, this girl's amazing. And then I got one and she sent me a text saying, I tried something new on this one. And I remember going, ooh, this isn't going to be good. And it was just like a very outlandish, like abstract kind of design. You could tell that she, had a full house. She was trying something new with her design process, and it just ended up being our place. Yeah, it was a very big lesson learned because this was a market, a large metropolitan market, where we did have a lot of corporate travel, stuff like that. And this one didn't perform so well with this very unusual design. But if this was in a different place, this design could have been a home run. So she wasn't wrong. It's just that you have to know what your design should look like for your market. And all I really mean by that is just make sure that she is designing it with your vision in mind. Now, when working with them, you want to make sure that they understand the budget and they complete the setup checklist, including all necessary supplies. Another thing is that some designers, I touched base on this last video, sometimes they don't like to order from particular places for their own personal reasons. So you want to make sure that they are also okay with that. You want to also keep track of furniture that works well for your business so you can copy and paste the same items when you're setting up a new location. So at a high level, this is what pretty much every Airbnb business does is, they'll have a specific TV they order, a specific couch they order, unless the odd time the layout's very different. But bed frames, blankets, linens, they'll have this stuff already ready so they can just reorder it for all the new units. I've actually provided you with a starting setup checklist that you can just give to them. It also has links to the side, just some links that I've used for basic supplies and stuff. I just thrown that in there as well for you. So you can feel free to customize this, make it your own. I'm sure you'll find little tweaks that you think make more sense for your business, and that's totally fine. But I'm going to show you that really quick. So right below the video is the furniture and supplies checklist. This is a list of must-haves for each room of the house. It also lists the quantities needed per item. So just create a copy and have your designer fill out the link to each item as they purchase, and then just keep the items you plan on using again in your copy to streamline the process for future setups. Like I said, I've added a few basics below. Switch out whatever you'd like. Just make a copy, and then you're good to go. The bedroom, all stuff there. Living room, workspace, kitchen, bathroom, dining room, and some miscellaneous items. I have some stuff here that I've used in the past. It's all for you. Then, like I said, you can add your own links as well to start building out that furniture list that's repeatable and scalable. So this is 100% yours, guys. It's my gift to you. Just send it to your designer so she knows the exact quantities. Tell her to follow it and you'll be good to go. Here's a quick glimpse of what a high-level furniture list looks like and will likely look like in the future for you too. So here's my one-bedroom furniture list A. I have the price and the discounted price as well because some of these are Wayfair professional purchases. So in the Arbitrage Alliance premium community, I'm actually going to share a lot of pre-built furniture lists that you can literally just click to order. They're the exact same setups I use or have used before to run profitable units. So you can literally just skip the guesswork or remote designer and simply just click to order. So it's ready to set up in your next property. Of course, you can absolutely create your own awesome furniture list. I'm just aiming to provide as much value as I can. And I've gotten some really good feedback that people absolutely love the pre-made lists. So this is what it looks like. When you're taking over a bunch of units at once, you want to create something like this because it's a repeatable model. You can use it across all 10 units, all 15 units, all 30 units really, right? Now we're going to talk about how to actually budget for this furniture. When you're budgeting to furnish an Airbnb, the first thing you want to figure out is how much money you should actually spend. There's been a big change in costs over the years. You know, back in like 2022 and earlier, you could get away with like $5,000 for a one bedroom, maybe $6,000 for a two bedroom. Fast forward today, I'm spending $6,000 for a one bedroom, maybe $7,500 for a two bedroom, and even up to $15,000 for a very large house, including setup costs, maybe $11,000 for furniture and supplies. Here's the thing I want to make known though. That jump in cost isn't just because furniture prices went up, although they did. It's also because I've upgraded the design and style of my units. I'm spending more now to make my units look better, sleep the max amount of people, and just overall offer a higher quality experience. In my opinion, this investment pays off because higher end units just simply bring in more revenue compared to bare bones. Two things I recommend is to get Wayfair Professional as soon as you can. You'll get special rates on a lot of things. It's actually really, really good. You can basically just set up a call for this and say you plan on growing to X amount of revenue, you're going to spend X amount of money. You can pretty much just spitball this the same way you do for a credit application. They're just overseas ambassadors. You'll likely get approved and connected to an account manager. I recommend you get Amazon Business Prime. This one isn't free, but there are a lot of options here for furnishing too. But most importantly, you'll get an amazing discount on supplies and stuff, especially during sales or if it's the Amazon Basics brand or one of their companies. You'll get access to commercial buying, and when you buy in bulk, it pretty much just like reduces every time you add an additional item. So it's definitely worth it. If you see on the furniture list I was just speaking about here, there's actually some pretty good discounted rates. At the bottom, we end up saving a good little chunk of change here. So they time this by 10 units or however many you're going to furnish, right? And it ends up being pretty substantial. Even if I just pop on to Wayfair right now, you can see the pro prices with a little sign beside it and $168 instead of $229. There's a bunch of good ones. If I jump on Amazon, there's good little deals here. Look, quantity 10. Can't go wrong. Now let's talk about how much is too much to spend on furniture. Like I just said, these days I'm spending more on high quality furniture because I've seen a direct correlation between better furnishings and higher revenue. Units where I spend more, like on upgraded designs, consistently perform better than the ones where I went with bare bone setups. Yes, it obviously increases your startup cost, but it is a one-time investment in an asset that will bring you cash flow month after month for as long as you release. That being said, you don't want to overspend. The law of diminishing returns definitely applies here. After a certain point, the guests won't be able to perceive the furniture as better, so it won't impact your revenue much, if at all. There's a sweet spot here where you want to clearly look like a high-tier property in the listing. So better, but not any crazy brand names or designer names or anything like that. For instance, spending $10,000 to furnish a one-bedroom in a property might not make sense if $6,000 would generate the exact same revenue. But also don't make the mistake of thinking you can spend too little. Like $3,000 setup is not going to produce the same results as a $6,000 setup, obviously. I want you guys to go into furniture setup and budgeting thinking like economy plus on an airplane. So people don't want to be in economy at the back of the plane, squished shoulder to shoulder, but first class is a luxury that many can't afford or just even justify for that short period of time, right? You want to be more like economy plus. They will pay a premium for the additional perks. Remember, people pay premium pricing for premium products, but people pay luxury prices because it signals something about their identity or social standing. It's not just about the product itself anymore. You're not the Honda Civic, you're the Honda Accord. Does that make sense? They are paying a bit more and can look and objectively understand what they are getting in return. This is something not as often spoken about, but it's also simply just better from an operational standpoint too, because cheap stuff just breaks or damages more, which leaves you with more to coordinate. Think about like replacing, going through the host insurance with Airbnb claims, back and forth on the emails with them as they try and gauge how much you think it's worth. Times that by a lot of units, and it becomes a major headache day to day. If stuff keeps breaking and you have to keep going back and forth, it's like, you may as well have just gotten a little bit nicer one. So, in short, focus on finding that sweet spot, spend enough money to elevate the space and increase your revenue, but don't go overboard where it doesn't make financial sense. Pro tip, always, always, always aim to maximize sleeping capacity in all of your properties. This boosts your visibility on the platform because you'll show up for more potential stays, and ultimately this leads to more revenue 100% every time. I've never seen it not. Let me show you what that actually looks like. So here we are on Airbnb in Charlotte, North Carolina. Check in January 1st, check out January 4th. Who's there? 10 guests. As you can see, there's 395 places. If I just add 2 more people, it's a sleeper sofa, right? We've already cut down 261. Pull out bed, 152. See how I'm going with this? Maxed out, you only compete with 91 other places. Now that's something that people don't realize at the beginning, like just adding a couple more people to sleep there, but you're actually really cutting the competition down. Now, of course, it doesn't necessarily mean they'll book, but this is making you visible on the platform more, which is one of the best things you can do. Because if there's, 15 guests and yours only sleeps 14, you're not even gonna pop up, right? So you're not even in the game. So you wanna make yourself as visible as possible, and this is one of the easiest ways. Now we're gonna talk about ordering and delivery and what this is actually going to look like for you. So when it comes to ordering and deliveries, timing is key. Let's say your lease starts on September 1st. You want to make sure that all your furniture is ordered by August 20th, so it starts arriving shortly after, a week in advance at the latest. To do this, you have 2 options. 1, ship directly to the property. If the building allows it or property allows it, have everything shipped straight there. You can just hire a handyman and ask the building for access to one of the apartments early. If you have a house, you can just get the keys early maybe, and you can store everything in that unit until you're ready to set up. Now, I've done this, but I personally don't recommend it. It's totally up to you. I guess it's not a bad idea to, if you're just doing a single house, you could just get all the orders there and then have someone at the end of the day come open the door and throw it in there. But in the apartments, I don't really like this. Certain residents in buildings already don't like Airbnb or short-term rentals just because they don't really know. So this, for me, is more about optics. You don't really want them to see a bunch of boxes and everything in their front foyer and having people bringing up the stairs, and for this new company that's coming in their building and leasing units, it's just a personal preference. But if you have a team there that can handle this stuff, go for it. The second option is to deliver to a storage unit. Now this is my preference. Just ship everything to a storage unit. After a few days before your lease starts, check that everything has arrived, and you could just have your team bring it all to the property on move-in day. Super easy. I do this the most, so this is what I'm going to show you. So delivering to a storage unit. To secure a storage unit, just contact a storage facility and arrange for deliveries to be sent there. Be sure to ask about any promotions. Don't skip this. Many storage facilities offer significant discounts for the first month, and since you'll only need the unit for a few weeks, you can take advantage of the deal, complete your project, and cancel before the next payment. I literally do this all the time, and this is another reason why I prefer this over the ship to the building, because it's not even like you're losing money. You can get this like all in for like under $100. Get the first month promotion. You're out of there in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and that's it. Cancel it. Done. My recommendation is extra space storage. I'll show you that in just a second. The one thing that you do want to do is just make sure you sign the hold harmless agreement. So this allows deliveries to be dropped off at your unit on behalf of you, and includes details of the person authorized to pick them up. You need to ask for this. If you don't ask, they won't know. Basically, all this means is you're consenting to Amazon, whoever you're ordering from, to go to your storage space and drop the items off there. That, and you give the Storage Facility Act rights to have a key as well to let them in. That's it. After that, you just share delivery information. So you provide your designer with the storage address and unit number, so they can just ship all the items directly there. They just add it to their Amazon, their Wayfair as an actual address, and they'll just ship it right there, right into your unit, and that's it. Then on move-in day, your team just shows up, transports all the stuff from the storage unit to the unit, and begins setup. Easy. Now, a bunch of storage facilities do work for this. The one question you have to ask them is just if they will accept deliveries on your behalf. That's the number one thing. Like I said, I prefer extra space storage. There's probably other good ones. This is just the easiest one that I've found the most success with, and they're everywhere. They also have a lot of online promotions as well if you book through the online site. So I'll show you that real quick. So here's extra space storage in Charlotte. As you can see, there's 45 locations near Charlotte. So you'll dial in a bit further here, and you're just going to pick the one that is closest to your unit. As you can see, there's a bunch, but let's just click this one. That's all there is to it. If you're unsure what unit size to actually go for, I've actually always followed this, and it's been pretty accurate. So if you just click that, you can see. And that's all I've done. One thing I want to bring up is they'll give you this protection plan stuff. They obviously make money off this, so they'll try and get you to do some protection plan stuff. Do whatever you feel comfortable with. I mean, I highly doubt anything is going to be stolen when you only have the one key, so it's up to you. As a US citizen, you can just fill this out, but I do want to note that as a Canadian citizen, especially at the beginning, if you don't have any addresses or anything like that, you might have to actually call. I still get someone to call because it's easier. They make this hard for Canadians doing anything, apparently. But yeah, when you get that protection plan guy on the phone just saying, "Do you want to do this?" Say, "No, I'm okay." That's all there is to it. And then make sure you ask for the hold harmless agreement. That's it. Here it actually is. You just have to sign this off. I hereby rent the above, blah, blah, blah. All this is saying is I hereby authorize Extra Space to keep a key to my unit on file to carry out such purpose. And such purpose meaning deliveries for you. You send this back via email. This is an online DocuSign they send you. And that's really it. You're good to go. You can just have your designer start delivering stuff over. Now we're going to talk about setting expectations. So if you're doing this remotely and you're not physically there, you are going to have to set expectations with your team before you start. And when I say setting expectations, I only really mean two things. One being, setup means set up. That means that their job is only done when a guest can walk in. That means all cutlery, everything. Garbage disposal, everything. It's set up when it's guest ready. And two is you need to set up an accountability system where they will need to send you updates on where they're at the end of each day. They basically just need to understand that although you're not there, you're very much involved. As I was saying, ensure your team understands they need to provide daily updates with photos or videos showing their progress. At the end of each workday, review the updates before releasing their payment for that day. They need to show you where they're at, how much got done on the project, and if for whatever reason not a lot got done, there was a challenge of some sort, they need to tell you why. Again, like I just said, you need to make it clear that their job includes completing all setup tasks, connecting smart locks, installing ring cameras, organizing cutlery, putting away supplies, getting rid of the boxes, everything. The project is only complete when the space is fully ready for a guest to walk in. I know I'm repeating myself, but this is something that's easy to make a mistake on your first go, just because you can't actually see it with your own eyes. And there's a bunch of little stuff that you wouldn't even expect, that you couldn't even think of, right, until a guest walks in from their paying guest perspective and sees it. So you get better at this with practice, of course, but you just want to make sure that the team understands this. The easiest way to do this at the beginning is just create a WhatsApp group with the designer, the main assembler, and yourself, so everyone can communicate openly and stay updated. This is just a random screenshot from an old WhatsApp group, but you can see that creating this group allows them to communicate as well, and then it keeps you in the loop so you can see what's going on. And then, you start getting a couple more properties in the city, you can just keep using the same setup team and the same group chat. Everyone knows how to work together, and you can see how it would naturally just start getting easier, right? When you set yourself up for success like this in the beginning, you can eventually just tell them, I'm setting up a unit for X date, and they'll pretty much just handle it because they know what to do. You've trained them on what to do. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, you don't want to micromanage them. Like, you do have to let them work. But just something like this, clear expectations, clear boundaries, and a group chat, and just let them do their thing. Now I want to talk about some logistical challenges that will inevitably, one way or another, happen at one point. As an entrepreneur, as a new entrepreneur, it's in your favor to assume that, something isn't going to go your way every time. And all I mean by that is just maybe give yourself some wiggle room. Like if it's your first project, you're doing this for the very first time, Maybe set up the photography, schedule it for a couple days after you think the project is going to finish. That way, if any of this happens, you've accounted for it and you'll be okay. You don't have to reschedule or anything like that. If you have no issues and it's seamless, like, that's awesome. It still happens to me all the time. I've had no issues, but once in a while it happens. So here are just some of them that came to the top of my head when I was making this, and some that I've experienced in the past. Delivery delays. So items might not arrive at the storage facility on time, causing delays in setup. Photographer availability. If setup takes longer than expected, the photographer's booking might need rescheduling. Lost orders. Tracking numerous deliveries can result in missing or misplaced items. Storage space limitations. Underestimating the required amount of storage needed. Bulk trash. Disposal of furniture boxes and packaging might exceed the property's regular garbage capacity, or you just have to arrange a time to pick it up, and maybe you set that up after you've already had a guest booking or coming soon. Just stuff like that, right? Setup errors. Utility or internet provider might make mistakes you'll need to troubleshoot on the fly. This happens more than you think. And unfinished setup. If minor tasks like curtain installation or final decor are incomplete, it can delay the photo shoot, right? The last one would be unexpected cost. For example, missing items during shipping or setup might need immediate replacement and original returned. Let's say they realize that the coffee table isn't there, and for whatever reason the coffee table is lost, and you have photography in 2 days. Like, what do? You just have to go tell your designer to get a coffee table that looks similar and return that first one. It is what it is, right? So there's a bunch. Honestly, this might not even happen to you. I'm just trying to give you as much perspective as I can, so you can kind of just think about these things before they happen, because I didn't think about these things when I first started, and all of these have happened to me. So take the lesson without the scar here. Now, the last topic for this video is a summary. We're going to break down the entire process from A to Z on the logistics behind actually setting up your property. I have 2 completely free resources I'm going to give to you at the bottom of this video, but first I'm just going to go through this with you on the slide. So the first thing we're going to do is confirm the budget with your designer, share the provided checklist, and provide the company card or some way for them to pay. Next, you're going to secure a storage facility that accepts deliveries and sign the agreement to allow them to. Deliver all items to the storage facility 7 to 10 days before the move-in date. Schedule internet installation and utility activation for the lease date. Book your photographer for the day after setup completion. If you're new, maybe 2 days. On move-in day, have your team come collect items from the storage and transfer them all to the unit. Your team assembles furniture, stocks the kitchen and toiletries, and organizes cleaning supplies for the cleaner. The interior designer handles layout, decor, and staging for professional photos. Ensure your team removes all packaging and disposes of all garbage. Conduct a final walkthrough to confirm every task on the provided checklists are complete. Take professional photos. List the property on Airbnb. Celebrate. You're officially in business, and you did it. And it wasn't that hard. It wasn't as hard as you thought. Now, I know this looks like a lot on my screen here, but I'm going to show you the 2 checklists I provided you with. And if you just go through them and check them off, this will be really easy. So I have 2 resources at the bottom. They're similar, but there's slight tweaks. I decided to just give you both, and you can choose whichever one you feel helps you more. So the first one is the Airbnb Setup Checklist PDF. This is literally everything you need to do from A to Z to get started. Everything. I even added little things of mistakes that I've forgotten about. Ensure there are no signs of clogged drains or soon to be clogged, stuff like that. This has everything. If you just go through this checklist with your team, you'll be good to go. The second one I have for you is the new property checklist A to Z. Now, this one starts before signing the lease. So this isn't necessarily just the logistics. This is the whole process from your end. As you can see, confirm city regulations, market analysis, deal analysis, how are the appliances and finishes, things you wouldn't really consider, how is the neighborhood, is there storage space we can use for cleaning supplies in the property, how will maintenance be handled and by who, what is the owner's long-term strategy with this unit, and what I mean by that is, are they planning on selling soon, is this a long-term hold? You just want to make sure you get the full picture before you sign the lease, right? Preparing to set up, finalize cost for labor, finalize the setup and design team to be used, who's going to be the main cleaner, get all room measurements, finalize budget, everything. Get keys from the landlord, set up the smart locks right away, schedule a photographer, connect all tech to Wi-Fi, everything. Is the unit 100% positively ready for the guest? So I have everything here for you guys, completely free. I want you guys to succeed. I've already made all these mistakes, so you don't have to anymore. Let's get to work. You have all the checklists. You have a perfect breakdown from A to Z. If you just go through them one at a time, this is quite literally foolproof. Even if you've never done it before, you have 2 resources, and they're the exact same ones that I use to this day, that my team uses for setting up new locations. Look, as you can see, this is the exact one I'm using right now, my team, and I've put it right on an Excel sheet for you. So I'm gatekeeping nothing. It's the exact same one I use. Now, one thing I do want to mention is for the Arbitrage Alliance Premium community, this whole thing is actually going to be a template that I just give to you. This is for people who are serious about scaling and taking this business big. You're going to be able to add your team members to handle certain parts of the task for you. It's very streamlined. But don't be discouraged. You can also just use the free property checklist. It works great, especially for your first couple properties. And yeah, that's it, guys. If you've made it this far, I'm genuinely proud of you. You're clearly taking action. So follow these steps. The property will be ready. And then next up, we're just going to show you exactly how to list it on Airbnb to perform its best.